Please welcome to Field Notes, Sera Rivers.
We're sipping our bourbon, listening to our favorite playlist as we prep the kitchen to create a beautiful meal together. It's date night. The next thing I know, the sirens are blaring, skillet popping angrily at me. I'm caught standing in front of the stove, 2 flimsy pieces of haddock in front of me. The fish are burning, do something now! Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. I need to take you back in time so you can understand the depth of this emergency situation. I grew up poor. My family moved from one apartment to the next in a tiny working-class city in Western Mass. No matter where we lived, though, one thing was constant. My dad always had a vegetable garden, and my mom made everything from scratch. Every day when my dad got home from work, we'd marvel at the snap peas sprouting off the long green stalks and bring in the day's ripened vegetables. Then I'd help my mom make dinner, stirring basil into homemade marinara or dropping dumplings into a simmering pot. The dinner table was the hub of our tiny apartment, the place where we shared stories while we ate homemade minestrone. Naturally, I thought when I grew up, I'd magically acquire my dad's green thumb and my mother's stellar cooking skills. To my surprise, I killed every plant I owned, and I burned everything I cooked, even water. My mother always joked we'd never be homeless because I could just make a house out of brownie bricks. But still, that dinner table was so important to me, so it remained the hub of my adult life. It just held more paper plates and takeout than the home-cooked meals I grew up with. After I got divorced and then failed at dating for years on end, I swear it wasn't my cooking, I don't think. I met someone that I wanted to share home-cooked meals with at our dinner table. So on date number 5, I invited Mike over for supper. My sister said, "What could he have possibly done already for you to want to kill him?" Grateful for friends who knew how to make an easy meal, I was able to throw a pot roast in a crock pot and simmer it in a bottle of red wine for 8 hours. Voila, dinner was a smashing success. For the months that followed, Mike wooed me, taking me to every cuisine in Northampton, Japanese, Thai, Greek, you name it, we tried it. And we discovered that we had a love for food and travel. So for the months that followed after that, we traveled everywhere to try new cuisine, both near and far. Then the pandemic hit. We quarantined together and once again brought our food adventures back into the kitchen. That's when Mike confessed that first night I cooked for him, he noticed my empty fridge, save for some condiments, a beer, and a withered orange. "That's why you bought me a cookbook?" I asked. "I bought us a cookbook." Stuck in the house with nothing to do, we dove into that cookbook like it was the hottest new trend. While Mike taught me the right temperatures and time to cook everything, I taught him how to choose higher quality produce and meats. And soon we learned, as our cooking skills strengthened, that most of our cooking fails were a result of subpar cookware. So we bought brand new knives, pans, and pots. "Why have I never bought a wok before?" I exclaimed as we enjoyed stir fry that we had just made in mere minutes. I soon realized that our cooking together mirrored our relationship. Mike was the ever-calm, supportive sous chef who let me take charge. "It's chicken chowder night. Get the ingredients. Chop that broccoli into 1-inch cubes. I'll dry rub the chicken." But don't get him wrong, Mike could take charge too. "Here's a cup of coffee, Sera. I'm making you a big breakfast." We learned how to work closely together, careful to not get in each other's way as we flitted about the kitchen. It was like a dance. We learned how to share responsibility, how to ask for help, and then accept that help. And we also learned that no matter what tragedies happened, and there were a lot this past year. We could depend on each other to provide comfort in food and in life. I went from brownie bricklayer to amateur chef in no time, and my cockiness was a little too much. I sauntered up to that fish counter on date night and ordered a pound and a half of wild-caught haddock. I had never cooked haddock before, and I was prepping my kitchen as if I was about to make salmon. So when the siren started blaring, I did too. They're burning! They're burning! Grab the tongs! Do something! Mike started hopping, darting, skipping, until all was calm again. I turned to him in complete embarrassment. That wasn't my finest hour. Well, now we know haddock comes in 5 pieces, not 2, Mike said. I thought about my dad's phenomenal garden and my mom's cooking that made any celebrity chef to shame. And I realized they did everything separately. My mom alone in her kitchen, my dad alone in his garden, and their marriage failed. Mike and I do everything together. And whether it's a burning fish or a death in the family, we lead or support when the other one needs it most. And that is what makes the best recipe. Thank you.
CISA is so honored to bring you these stories about local food and our culture. If you'd like to learn more about CISA's work and our programs, please go to buylocalfood.org. Thank you.